Hello students, today we are going to discuss some important numericals regarding the entropy and change in Gibbs energy. Question number 107. A perfect crystalline solid molar heat capacity at constant pressure. Molar heat capacity at constant pressure is given as A into T cube, A into T to the power 3, where A is a constant. And the molar heat capacity at constant pressure is given as a 0.42 joule per Kelvin per mole at the temperature 10 Kelvin. At the temperature is what? 10 Kelvin. Okay. Now the question is, find the molar entropy. Find the molar entropy. First of all, what is the molar heat capacity at constant pressure is given? That is 0.42, which is equal to A into T cube. What is the absolute temperature is given? 10 Kelvin here. From here, shall I find the proportionality constant A? That will be equal to 0.42 into 10 raised to minus 3, 10 to the power minus 3. Are you getting my point? Now we have to find the molar entropy at 20 Kelvin temperature. Okay. Now we know the molar entropy, that is the entropy corresponding to 1 mole of a substance. Okay. Integral Q by T. Okay. The limits value 0 to T Kelvin temperature. Now that is the molar entropy, which is equal to integral, instead of Q, what I am writing here, molar heat capacity at constant pressure multiplied by dt whole divided by T. Yes or no? And the limits here 0 Kelvin to 20 Kelvin. 0 Kelvin to 20 Kelvin. So here, what is the molar heat capacity? Actual formula, that will be equal to A into T cube. A into T cube whole divided by T into dt integral 0 Kelvin to 20 Kelvin. So A is a proportionality constant, bring the A outside, and we know what is the value of A, that will be 0.42 into 10 raised to minus 3. Integral T cube by T, nothing but integral T square dt, and the limits value 0 to 20 Kelvin. Okay. Now the molar entropy value here 0.42 into 10 raised to minus 3. So integral x square will be equal to x cube by 3. So integral t square dt will be equal to t cube by 3. So divided by 3 I am writing outside, and the t cube upper limit will be 20 Kelvin. So 20 cube minus lower limit will be 0. So 0 cube. After simplification, the molar entropy of a pure perfect crystalline substance at 20 Kelvin will be equal to 1.12 joule per Kelvin per mole. Are you getting my point? So the molar entropy at 20 Kelvin is 1.12. Is 1.12 C. This is the C option. That is the option C. And the next question number 108, similar to the previous question. Here the molar heat capacity at constant pressure is given as A into T cube plus B into T. Here there are two constants, A and B, both are constants. Now initially at 10 Kelvin temperature, what is the molar heat capacity value? 0.4 joule per Kelvin per mole. Whereas at 20 Kelvin temperature, what is the molar heat capacity at constant pressure? 0.92 Kelvin. By using the 10 Kelvin, 20 Kelvin temperatures Cp value, we can find the A and B constants values. Let's suppose when the temperature T value equal to 10 Kelvin, what is the molar heat capacity at constant pressure is given? 0.4, which is equal to A into, what is the temperature? 10. So 10 cube plus B into 10. Are you getting my point? So this will be the equation number 1. Similarly, at another temperature, that is the 20 Kelvin temperature. 20 Kelvin temperature, what is the molar heat capacity at constant pressure? That will be 0.92, which is equal to again A into, now the temperature 20, so 20 cube plus B into T, which is again 20. Okay, so this will be the equation 2. So there are two unknown variables and two linear equations. By solving 1 and 2, we can find the proportionality constants A and B. So from 1 and 2 equations, the A value that will be 2 into 10 to the power minus 5, and the B value which is equal to 0.0388 after solving the equation 1 and 2, after simplification of equation 1 and 2. Are you getting my point? Now we have to find the molar entropy will be equal to integral 0 to, where we have to find at 20 Kelvin. We have to find the molar entropy where at 20 Kelvin. So the limits value 0 Kelvin to 20 Kelvin. Are you getting my point? What is the molar heat capacity given here? A into T cube plus B into T. Okay, this will be the molar heat capacity divided by temperature T into dt. Are you getting my point? Now here we know the proportionality constants A and B value. Okay, first of all I am writing integral a t cube upon t into dt. So a is a constant, bring the a outside. Okay, integral t square, nothing but t cube by 3. So t cube by 3, I am writing the 3 outside. T cube, upper limit will be 20, so 20 cube, lower limit will be 0, so 0 cube. Yes or no? Plus, and there is a one more part is there, integral b into t by t into dt. So tt gets cancelled, integral dt will be t. Okay, now what is the constant b? I am writing as it is here. So integral dtt, upper limit will be 20 minus lower limit will be 0 Kelvin. Are you getting my point? Now here what is the a value, proportionality constant a value? 2 into 10 to the power minus 5 whole divided by 3. Now the 20 cube nothing but the 8000. Okay, plus 20 into b. Are you getting my point? What is the b value? We know already b value, that will be equal to 0.0388. Okay, so after complete simplification you will get 0.053 plus 0.76, which is equal to 0.813 joule per Kelvin per mole. The final answer will be what? 0.813 joule per Kelvin per mole. This is the C option. Okay, now the question number 109, when two equal sized pieces of a same metal at different temperatures. So one temperature is given Th, that is a hot piece, that means the body at high temperature, and the second temperature Tc, the cold body temperature, are brought into contact, okay, into thermal contact and isolated from its surrounding. Then the total change in entropy of the system is given by. Now first of all, what is the heat formula? Q is equal to, shall I write ms dt or delta T? Okay, otherwise Q is equal to C into dt or delta T. Are you getting my point? Where C is the heat capacity, where C is the heat capacity, and the law of conservation of energy, energy neither can be created nor can be destroyed, it can be transferred from one form to another form, based upon which heat loss by a hot body will be equal to heat gained by a cold body. Yes or no? So this is the law of conservation of energy. Suppose when a hot body contact with a cold body, we know heat flows from a hotter body to a colder body. Okay, now here heat loss by a hot body will be equal to heat gained by a cold body. Okay, now the amount of heat exchange will be Q, which is equal to C into dt. Now at a constant volume, what I am taking here, at a constant volume, so Cv, that will be the heat capacity. What will be the initial temperature of a hot body? Th, and final temperature, what I am taking here, I am taking the final temperature. So final temperature will be T. Okay, and the initial temperature here I am taking the Th, which is equal to Cv, because the same substance, so molar heat capacity remains same. Are you getting my point? Now T minus final temperature, here I am taking the Tc. Are you getting my point? From here, shall I cancel the Cv on both sides? After simplification, the final temperature will be nothing but the average of the two temperatures. If the masses will be same. Yes, in the question it is given with equal size, means same mass. The final temperature will be average of the hot body temperature and cold body temperature. Yes or no? Now what will be the change in entropy? change in entropy will be equal to integral of Cv dt upon T. So T initial to T final temperature. Now for a cold body, what will be the change in the entropy? Delta Sc will be equal to Cv ln final temperature T upon initial temperature, here cold body Tc. In case of a hot body, change in entropy delta S H will be equal to again Cv ln the final temperature T, but the initial temperature will be hot body Th. Yes or no? Now entropy is a state function, so we have to calculate the total entropy. Total entropy change. Total entropy change, that will be delta S total will be equal to delta S cold body plus delta S hot body change in the entropies. Okay, now here Cv ln T upon Tc plus Cv ln T upon Th. Once again, ln Cv T upon Tc plus ln Cv ln or ln Cv T upon Th. Now here Cv take the common, log A plus log B, log of AB, so log of, that means ln T square upon Tc into Th. Yes or no? Now what is the T value here? The T value will be equal to Tc plus Th whole divided by 2. So finally what I am writing, Cv ln Tc plus Th whole square divided by 2 times of whole square, that will be 4. So 4 times of Tc into Th. This is the total entropy. Total change in entropy. So Cv ln Tc plus Th whole square by 4 Tc Th. That will be the option number C. In the C option, this is not the C option, here the D option, because in the D option, in the denominator you have 4 times of Tc and Th. So that's why, what is the correct option here? Fourth option, that is the option D. Option D. Yes or no? Now here the next question, that will be the question number 110. In the question number 110, what is the given data here? So there is a reaction is given, 3H2S plus 2HNO3 gives 2NO plus 4H2O plus 3S. Okay, in the respective brackets the values of delta G0 F values are given, that is the standard Gibbs enthalpy, Gibbs energy change for the formation of the species given. So what is the question here? Find the delta G0. Find the delta G0 value. Are you getting my point? First of all, I am writing what will be the delta G0 for the reaction. Nothing but the summation of the delta G0 F for the products minus of summation of the delta G0 F of the reactants. In the last class we explained this formula. Okay. Now what are the products here given? There are 2 products. One product will be 3 products are there, nitric oxide, another product will be H2O, and third one will be sulfur. Okay. So first of all, what I am writing here, I am writing left hand, I am writing first of all products change in the Gibbs free energy formation, that will be on the right hand side how many moles of NO? 2 moles. So 2 times of delta G0 F of NO plus, now 4 moles of water is there, so 4 into delta G0 F for the H2O. And what about the sulfur? In sulfur the change in formation of Gibbs energy formation will be 0, so no need to write the sulfur. Okay, only we are taking the 2 products only. Okay, minus of, come to the reactant side. In the reactant side we have 3 moles of H2S, so 3 into delta G0 F H2S plus how many moles of HNO3? 2 moles, 2 into delta G0 F HNO3. Yes or no? In the last class I told you, in the standard state for the formation of elements, the change in Gibbs energy in the standard state, it is arbitrarily assumed to be 0. That's why the sulfur value here taken as a 0 value. Okay. Now the total change in standard Gibbs energy for the reaction will be equal to 2 into, what is the NO delta G0 F value given? 86.6 plus 4 times of H2O is given minus of 270, 237.1, 237.1 minus of what will be the H2S value given? That will be minus 33.6. So 3 into minus 33.6 plus what is the value of HNO3 given? Minus 80.6. So 2 times of the minus 80.6. Are you getting my point? So after simplification, you will get 173.2 minus of 948.4 minus of minus will get the plus value, that will be 100.8 plus 161.2. Okay, and the final answer will be minus 513.2 minus 513.2. That will be the first option. That will be the first option. Are you getting my point? Here the units are not given, that's why I am writing the only the numerical value. Yes or no? Now come to the question number 111. In the question number 111, from the following delta H naught value, delta S naught value, predict the which of the following reactions out of 1, 2, 3 would be spontaneous. Now in the last class I explained the for spontaneous process the necessary condition should be delta H naught always negative, delta S naught always positive, then the delta G naught value always negative. This will be the condition for spontaneous process. Yes or no? Now according to which, if you see in the first option, delta H naught positive, delta S naught positive. Second option also delta H naught positive but delta S naught negative. But in the third option, if you see delta H naught negative and delta S naught positive, so these are the two important driving conditions for the spontaneity of a process. So according to the given data, the reaction 3 is a spontaneous process. The reaction 3 will be spontaneous. Are you getting mine? Otherwise, you can find the delta G naught value. How to find the delta G naught value? Delta G naught value is equal to delta H naught minus T delta S naught. Okay. Now what is the temperature value here? Standard temperature is given 25 degrees. That means plus 273. So finally you can find the final temperature as a 298 Kelvin. Okay. By replacing the temperature value, delta H naught value, delta S naught value, if you solve the 1, 2, 3 equations where if the delta G naught value less than 0, then only the process will be spontaneous. Then only the process will be what? Spontaneous. So according to which the option number 3 will be the, option number, not option number 3, reaction number 3, that is the option number 1. That is the first option. A option will be the correct answer. Yes or no? Now question number 112. Calculate the delta H naught a formation of uranium tetrabromide from the delta G naught values and S naught values given at the 298 Kelvin. This will be the question number 112. Okay. First of all, what is the given equation? Uranium plus bromine to give uranium bromide. Yes or no? Uranium bromide. Now what will be the, first of all I am writing to calculating the change in entropy. So in the standard condition, again the algebraic sum of the standard entropy of the products minus algebraic sum of the standard entropy of the reactants. Okay. Now here the product will be uranium tetrabromide whose standard entropy value given as a 242.6 minus of, here there are two reactants are there, uranium and bromine. Uranium standard entropy will be given as a 50.3 and the next to bromine value given 152.3, but 2 moles of bromine is there, that's why 2 into 152.3. Are you getting my point? So you will get the value 242.6 minus 50.3, so minus 2 times of the 152.3. Okay. After simplification you will get minus 112.3 joule per Kelvin, okay, per mole. So but in the option if you see it is in the kilojoule per mole per Kelvin. Are you getting my point? So that's why I am writing this will be in terms of joule per Kelvin per mole. So but options if you see kilojoule. That's why I am writing minus 112.3 into 10 raised to minus 3 into 10 raised to minus 3. So that will be the kilojoule per mole. Only this is delta S naught value. This is only for delta here S naught. The question is calculate the standard enthalpy of formation. Okay. Now what will be the standard Gibbs enthalpy, Gibbs energy formation delta G naught F will be equal to standard enthalpy of formation delta G naught F minus T times of the standard enthalpy of formation, standard entropy of formation. Are you getting my point? That means we know the formula, that is delta G equal to delta H minus T delta S. Delta G is equal to what? Delta H minus T delta S. So here delta G naught F value given in the question, delta G naught value F value given in the question. So this is the given in the question, and the delta S naught value just we calculated, so we can find the delta H naught F. Okay, standard enthalpy of formation. What is the standard Gibbs energy formation value given in the question? Minus 788.6 will be equal to standard enthalpy of formation to be calculated minus of temperature value, standard condition. In the given question, I think the value given 298 Kelvin into what will be the standard change in the entropy formation, that will be 112.3 into 10 to the power minus 3. Yes or no? So from here, standard enthalpy of formation of a reaction which will be equal to minus 822.065 unit will be kilojoule per mole. So the final answer will be minus 822. So that means here the first option. Okay. Now the question number 113. Calculate the standard Gibbs energy formation value. Consider not calculated. Consider the standard Gibbs energy formation and standard enthalpy of formation for the following oxides. Which oxide can be most easily decomposed to form the metal and oxygen gas? Generally you see metal combined with oxygen to give metal oxide. Yes or no? So this is a general equation. So I am writing metal oxide formula MXO5. Okay, where the metal atoms are X and oxygen atoms are Y by 2. Okay. Now we know generally the oxidation of a metal is a spontaneous phenomena because metals have a great tendency to undergo oxidation. So that's why generally we can say standard enthalpy of formation of standard Gibbs energy formation of a metal oxide will be spontaneous and it has negative value. Are you getting my point? If the delta G naught F value, if it is more negative, if it is what? More negative means more stable metal oxide. More stable which one? Metal oxide. Yes or no? If it is more stable, this means more negative delta G naught F. Are you getting my point? Now you see, out of the four options, where the delta G naught value will be less negative compared to the four options. If you see the option C, here the mercuric oxide having the delta G naught value minus 58.5. This is the only one option where the delta G naught value will be less negative in the sense more positive value. Are you getting my point? That means this mercuric oxide compared to other oxides will be less stable. Are you getting my point? That means here for the decomposition of a metal oxide, that means if the metal oxide MXOY, when it is decomposes to give metal as well as oxygen, what happens? Lesser the delta G naught value in the negative, that will be the less stable, and more the negative delta G naught value, more stable. So out of four options, mercuric oxide, that is the metal oxide, mercuric oxide is less stable oxide. Why it is less stable oxide? Because it has less negative delta G naught F value. Out of the four metal oxides, mercuric oxide is a less stable oxide. That's why it easily undergo dissociation to give mercury and oxygen. Are you getting my point? So this is very, very important. Yes or no? Once again I am repeating. How to identify the stable oxide of a metal? If you see the delta G naught formation, if the delta G naught value formation, if it is more negative, the corresponding metal oxide is more stable. Are you getting my point? If the delta G naught F value will be less negative, the corresponding metal oxide will be less stable. When the metal oxide is less stable, it may undergo readily dissociation to give metal oxide. Are you getting my point? Example, copper oxide, okay, mercury oxide, silver oxide. These metal oxides generally they say less stable and easily undergo dissociation, easily undergo decomposition. The reason here, do you know copper, mercury and silver, these are less electropositive metal. Generally, if the less electropositive metals they combine with oxygen to give metal oxides, they are generally less stable as compared to more electropositive metal oxides such as sodium, potassium. Suppose if you see sodium oxide, if you see potassium oxide, if you see magnesium oxide, if you see aluminum oxide, these metal oxides are stable because they have more negative delta G naught F. Are you getting my point? So if the delta G naught value less negative, the metal oxide will be less stable. If the delta G naught F value for a metal oxide is more negative, the corresponding metal oxide will be more stable. Yes or no? So option number C. Okay. Calculate the delta G naught value. Question number 114. Calculate the delta G naught value at 127 degrees Celsius. K equilibrium. That means here the equilibrium constant value given. What is the equilibrium constant value given here? 10 to the power 5. 10 to the power 5. Okay. Now what is the temperature is given here? 127 plus 273 Kelvin. That means 400 Kelvin. Do you know in the last class I explained the relationship between the standard Gibbs free energy change and the equilibrium constant relation. That means delta G naught value equal to minus 2.303 RT logarithm of K equilibrium. Are you getting my point? Equilibrium constant. Here minus 2.303. What is the R value we have to take in terms of kilojoule? What is the R value in joules? 8.314. In terms of kilojoules, 8.314 into 10 to the power minus 3. Are you getting my point? What will be the temperature? That will be the 400 into logarithm of K equilibrium value given 10 to the power 5. Do you know log of x to the power n is equal to n log x? Yes or no? Log 10 to the power of 5, nothing but 5 into log 10. Do you know log 10 value? Do you know log 10 value 1? So that's why I am writing minus 2.303 into 8.314 into 10 raised to minus 3 into 400 into 5 into log 10. Log 10 value I am writing 1. Are you getting my point? After complete simplification, the final answer will be minus 38.29 kilojoule per mole. Minus 38.29. Minus 38.29. That means the option A. First option is the correct option. Are you getting my point? Now, question number 115. In the question number 115, the equilibrium concentration of the species in the reaction A plus B equilibrium C plus D. So here one equilibrium is given, A plus B equilibrium C plus D. Yes or no? The equilibrium concentrations are given 3, 5, 10, 15 moles per liter at 300 Kelvin. Find the delta Z naught value in calories. Now in the previous question, K equilibrium is given, find the delta Z naught value, but here delta Z naught value to be calculated from the equilibrium constant. Here equilibrium constant not given, but we can find the equilibrium constant. How to find the equilibrium constant? That is nothing but the concentration of the products at equilibrium divided by concentration of a reactants at equilibrium. Yes or no? Product of the concentration of a products divided by the product of a concentration of a reactants at equilibrium. What is the concentration of C and D at equilibrium? 10, 15. What are the concentration of reactant AB at equilibrium? 3, 5. So 15 gets cancelled. K equilibrium value 10. So after that we can directly write the equation delta Z naught, that will be minus 2.303 R T log of K equilibrium, that is the equilibrium constant, minus 2.303. Now what is the R value? I have to take 2 calories because in option it is asking in terms of calories. Okay, and the temperature value, that will be 300 into logarithm of 10. We know log 10 value 1. We know log 10 value 1. Yes or no? After simplification you will get the answer, that will be minus 1381.8 calories. Minus 1381.8 calories. That means the option B is the correct option. Option B is the correct option. Okay. Now question number 116. At 25 degrees Celsius, for the dissociation of a nitrogen tetroxide, dinitrogen tetroxide, that means N2O4 will dissociated to give what? NO2. So NO2. Now it is completely balanced equation and it is a equilibrium reaction. And what is the equilibrium constant given? K equilibrium given, that will be 0.15. Okay. Then calculate the standard Gibbs energy change, delta Z naught in kilojoule. Yes or no? Again the formula, delta Z naught value equal to, shall I write, minus 2.303 R T logarithm of K equilibrium, that is the equilibrium constant, minus 2.303. What is the R value I have to take in terms of kilojoule? That will be 8.314 divided by 1000. Okay. And what is the temperature given? 25 degrees. 25 degrees nothing but 298 Kelvin. So 298 Kelvin multiplied by log of equilibrium constant value 0.15. Here logarithm of 0.15 value, logarithm of 0.15 value will be equal to minus 0.823. This is very important. This should be very important. We have to know the some logarithm values. Okay. How to find the log of 0.15 value? I will explain here. Shall I write log of 0.15 equal to log of 15 into 10 to the power minus 2. Yes or no? Now it is in the form of log AB. Shall I write log of 15 plus log of 10 to the power minus 2. We know log x to the power of n log x. So here shall I write log of 15 minus 2. Again log 15, shall I write log of 5 plus log of 5 plus log of 3, because log AB, log A plus log B, minus 2. Do you know log 5 value approximately 0.7 and log 3 value approximately 0.48, and this will be minus 2. After simplification you will get the logarithm of 0.15 value as a minus 0.823. Okay. After simplification of this value you will get the final answer, that will be equal to, here you see there is a negative value here. So minus 2.303 into 8.314 into 10 raised to minus 3 into 298, and the negative value will be minus 0.823. Negative into negative you will get the positive value. So delta Z naught value equal to 4.695 kilojoule per mole. 4.695. Approximately shall I write the 4.7 answer? That will be the B option. Okay. Now question number 117. This is regarding to metallurgy chapter. So here consider the following reactions at 1000 degrees Celsius: Zn plus half O to ZnO and C plus half O to CO. In both the reaction the delta G naught value given as a minus 360 and minus 460 kilojoule per mole. Remember, now in metallurgy we are using to extract the metals from their metal oxides. The final the ore which is collected from the natural source, the ore extracted. Okay, most of the metals occur in the metal oxide form. So the metal oxide finally, if it is reduced to metal, then we can get the metal. So what are the substances used to reduce the metal oxide to metal? The best example, coke is a good reducing agent. That means graphite is a good reducing agent which reduce the metal oxide to metal. Now in this reaction if you observe, now here carbon get oxidized to carbon monoxide. S or no? C plus O2 oxidized to what? CO. What is the delta G naught value here? Minus 460 kilojoule per mole. Yes or no? Now what I am trying to do here, I am reversing the first equation. I am interchanging the first equation. So zinc oxide will reduce to zinc and oxygen. Yes or no? For this reaction, I am writing the delta G naught value plus 360. Why? Because I am changing the reactants and products. That's why the delta G value interchanging. So magnitude will be same, but the sign will be interchanges. Yes or no? Let's suppose I am adding these two equations. Once I am adding these two equations, do you know half O2 gets cancelled? So final equation you will get zinc oxide plus graphite will give zinc plus carbon monoxide. And what will be the delta G naught total value after adding up these two equations? The net value will be minus 100 kilojoule per mole. Do you know the delta G naught value negative? The delta G naught value negative. The above process is spontaneous or not? Yes, spontaneous. That's why what I am doing, I am taking the negative delta G naught value as it is, and the more negative delta G naught value as it is. If the less delta G naught value equation, if you interchanging, that will be gives positive delta G naught. If you add these two reactions, if the delta G resultant value, if it is negative, the process will be feasible. Otherwise, the process is not feasible. But in this case, what happens? Zinc oxide get reduced to zinc in the presence of graphite. That means what happens? Zinc oxide can be reduced by graphite. Yes or no? Because the net reaction delta G naught value negative, that's why the process is feasible. The process is feasible. If the delta G naught value positive, the process is not feasible. Yes or no? That means if you see the option B, in the B option, zinc oxide can be reduced by the graphite. Yes or no? This is correct option, B option. Okay. Now the question number here 118. So the reaction X2Y4 liquid gives 2X2Y2 gas at 300 Kelvin. The value of del U and del S given 2 kilocalorie, 20 calorie per Kelvin respectively. Find the delta G value. How to find the delta G? Delta G equal to delta H minus T delta S. Yes or no? But in the question delta U given how much? 2 kilocalorie. And delta S is also given how much? 20 calorie per Kelvin. Now first of all I have to find the delta H. How to find the delta H value? How to find the delta H value with the help of delta U? Do you know delta H is equal to delta U plus RT delta Ng. So this is a relation between the change in internal energy and change in enthalpy. Change in internal energy and change in enthalpy. Yes or no? What is the reaction given? X2Y4 is a liquid which will converted to 2XY2 gas. Okay. Now what is the number of moles here? Only 2 moles, because liquid moles not considered. Only for gases we can consider the number of moles. So delta Ng value 2. So delta H is equal to, what is the delta U value? 2 kilocalorie. R value 2 calorie. I have to write the in terms of kilocalorie. So 2 into 10 to the power minus 3. And what will be the temperature is given in the question? 300 Kelvin. 300 Kelvin. Okay. Into delta Ng value will be 2. Delta Ng value will be how much? 2. So finally the delta H value equal to how much? 3.2 kilocalorie. After getting the delta H, can I find the delta G? Yes, delta G equal to, shall write the delta H minus T delta S. Delta H value 3.2 minus of temperature will be 300, and what is the delta S value? 20 calorie, but I have to convert into kilocalorie. So that's why I am writing 20 by 1000. 20 by 1000. So 3 zeros gets cancelled here. So 3.2 minus of 6, that will be equal to 3.2 minus 6 will be equal to minus 2.8 kilocalorie. Okay. Otherwise minus 2800 calories. Otherwise minus 2800 calories. Minus 2800 calories. You see option number C. Option number C. Yes or no? Now question number 119, the last question. In this question, for a galvanic cell Zn plus Cu plus 2, we know galvanic cell, it is a device in which the chemical energy is converted into the electrical energy. Okay, we will detailedly discuss this topic in the electrochemistry chapter. Okay, so zinc is a solid, copper plus 2 aqueous ion. So zinc undergoing oxidation and cupric ion gets reduced to metallic copper. Okay, how many number of electrons are exchanging here? 2 electrons are exchanging here, because zinc loses 2 electrons. Zinc undergoing oxidation to Zn plus 2 by loss of 2 electrons, whereas the copper plus 2 ions accepting the 2 electrons to give metallic copper. Yes or no? So the overall net reaction will be what? Zn plus Cu plus 2 gives Zn plus 2 plus Cu. So overall 2 electrons are involving in this reaction. Okay, and what is the cell potential is given here for the galvanic cell? 1.1 volts. What is the question? Standard Gibbs free energy change delta G naught value is the question. So this is the standard EMF of the cell. Yes or no? Now in the previous class I explained one relation between the change in Gibbs free energy in the standard state versus EMF of the cell, galvanic cell, battery EMF, that is the electrical work done. Delta G naught value equal to minus NF E naught cell. So in the last class I explained this relation, delta G naught value equal to minus NF E naught cell. So we will detailedly discuss in the electrochemistry chapter also. But in the electrochemistry related with thermodynamics, that's why we are dealing one question in this thermodynamics chapter. Okay, now how many number of electrons are participating? 2. Do you know what is the F? Faraday, which is nothing but 96,500 coulombs of electricity. So the Faraday is a constant whose value 96,500 coulombs, and the cell potential will be 1.1 volts. Okay, so this will be minus 212300 joules. Why? We know 1 coulomb multiplied by 1 volt is equal to 1 joule. Yes or no? Now this is the electrical energy. So in terms of kilojoules, minus 212.3 kilojoules, this will be the work done by the galvanic cell. This is the work done by the galvanic cell.